When talking about conflict in a professional and even personal setting, a situation in my own life comes up as one that was actually a learning experience for me. At my last job, I worked as a stress test tech alongside a nuclear medicine tech. We worked collaboratively to do stress testing on patients in a cardiology office. She not only made more money than me, but she thought her position was a little more important than mine, although I thought mine was just as important because I'm reading the EKGs as the patient is doing the test. She would belittle me, and she would say things like I'm her assistant, or not to listen to me, to take lead from her to the patient because I didn't know what I was talking about, when in all reality we both had a bachelor's degree and we were both working for one common goal. But she felt it necessary to say stuff like that in front of patients about me. And I already knew that I'm not combative, and I didn't say anything, and I probably should have spoke up. The conflict resolution quiz just reaffirmed that I have a harmonizing conflict resolution, meaning that even if it pushes my feelings to the side, I just work to get the conflict resolved. There definitely are some cons to that because I do breed resentment. Even to this day, in a whole nother job, it still rubs me the wrong way when I speak about it, that she called me her assistant in front of people. If I knew what I knew now, then I would have been a little more assertive in my approach of resolving the conflict. In the Davis book, there is a difference between aggressive and assertive. My mom is more of an assertive, aggressive type, and she always told me, say this, say this, say that. But because I don't like to stir the pot, and because I like to just get the conflict resolved, I never said anything. Hindsight's always 20/20, and now I know, reading the book, that I could have been assertive by getting my point across without offending her or anyone else. It becomes very touchy working in a professional setting with patients and another colleague, because you don't want the patient to see that there's tension. You don't want them to see that there's something wrong. So for me, it was just easier to bury the problems and just say okay and just keep going with the flow. Now I know that that wasn't right. It took me leaving a whole nother job and working somewhere else completely to realize that I can't just always bury everything and hope that it goes away, because it doesn't. It's like the book said, or the quiz said, it just breeds resentment. In the future, as a physical therapist, I hope not to harbor any resentment towards anyone and always have the harmonizing. I'd like to work collaboratively. That's what I scored second highest, and because I don't always want my feelings to get pushed to the side. As a physical therapist, this will be my career. I don't want to leave this job to go to another job. I want to stay here. I can't run away from my problems all the time. So I think for me, conflict, I try not to deal with it. I try to just let everything go with the flow, but it'll be a big challenge for me to speak my opinion and speak my mind without thinking that I'm going to come across as angry or aggressive or anything like that. This book, the books put in really good perspective why people have conflict and what you can do. I think looking back at the situation, I could have pulled her to the side after the patients at the end of the day and told her how it was making me feel, instead of just leaving completely and her never knowing that she offended me, because she may offend someone else. Conflict is not my forte. I hope to get better at it. I hope to be able to get my point across. And that's what I learned.